In this video, you're gonna learn what the day-to-day life is like as a sales development rep. And you wanna make sure you watch this video until the end because I'm gonna give you the inside scoop on how this all goes down using my experience as a salesperson in Silicon Valley. What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick Dang here. Before we get started, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, turn on notifications because it really does help this channel out. And let's go ahead and get started. So the first question that we have to ask is, what exactly is a sales development rep and what is it that they actually do? Well, the definition we're gonna use is that a sales development rep is somebody who focuses on prospecting and generating leads. Now let's go ahead and unpack this a little bit more so you get a better understanding of what this is. So a sales development rep, also known as an SDR, is going to be the same thing as a business development rep, BDR, okay? So they're different acronyms depending on which company you're talking to or working at, but essentially the job is pretty much the same thing. And what the job entails is that a sales development rep is somebody who reaches out to a customer or a client that maybe has no idea who they are, and they are trying to generate a meeting, right? And the reason why they want to generate a meeting is because that's when selling happens and you talk to the person over the phone and you take them through your sales process. But before any selling actually happens, somebody has to first generate interest, generate that relationship, and generate that first meeting to just have a relationship to even start a conversation. So as an SDR, you know, if your job is really solely to generate meetings, you're gonna be doing what? Cold calling, cold emailing, messaging people on LinkedIn. Those are gonna be the primary responsibilities of a sales development rep in reaching out to new clients. And once you do actually generate an appointment, either the sales development rep will talk to that person for maybe 10 to 15 minutes to qualify them, or they're just gonna pass that meeting to an account executive who is a more senior closer, and that person will actually close the deal. So for a sales development rep, you're really just focused on generating that meeting, and you also get paid based on how many qualified meetings you generate. So now that you have a better understanding of what a sales development rep actually is, we're gonna dive into the core responsibilities and the day-to-day activities of what you'll be doing on the job. So let's say you are a sales development rep working at, let's say, a tech company or software company, and it's your job to generate leads. Well, you might be coming to the office maybe 8 or 9 a.m., or maybe you're working remotely and you're logging onto your computer around 8 or 9 a.m. So as a sales development rep, the first step is actually to have some creativity, right? So you might spend the morning thinking about different prospects you can actually reach out to. For example, you know, one day you might say, okay, today I'm going to reach out to the top advertising companies in New York. So how exactly would this work? Well, you can just go on Google and you type in top advertising companies in New York, okay? So as an SDR, you're kind of building a list, right? And you go on Google and maybe you find a list that someone else put together on a blog or something like that. So now, you know, this is top 50 advertising agencies in New York. And you know, you got Smart Sites, you got MoBurst, right? Basically, there's a big list. And essentially as an SDR, you would take every company you see on this list, and you know, you have to have some type of qualification. And here the qualification is that, you know, they have, let's say 10 to 50 employees, or maybe they have thousands of employees, right? So depending on what qualifications you want, you might say like, okay, I'm only gonna be interested in companies that have 50 or more employees. So every company you see on this list that has 50 or more employees, well, you're gonna put them on your list. First, you're kind of just building the company list, and that's all you're doing all day. You're just, you know, going on Google, finding these companies, building lists. Let's say you're going back on Google and you're like, okay, let's go top lending companies in United States, okay? So, you know, as a SDR, you have to come up with these ideas, right? And so now, you know, we got the 10 best mortgage lenders 2020, and boom, you got Quicken Loans, SoFi, Loan Depot, and if you're going after these finance companies, well, you put all these people on your list. And that's actually a lot of what an SDR does. They're doing the research, finding these companies, and building out a list. From there, after you do build the list, well, you have to find individual decision makers you want to talk to. So what you can do is you wanna go on LinkedIn, you find like the CEO, VP of marketing, director of marketing. It really depends on what you're selling, and you know, that's gonna influence who these key decision makers are for you. And then you maybe have like 1 to 4 different decision makers for each company that you found, and then you would write a cold email or cold call them or add them on LinkedIn and send them a message, whatever works best in your industry, and you're basically writing them, asking to see if they would be interested in learning more about your company and taking a meeting with you. And then once someone does agree, well, you're gonna book a meeting and then the job is pretty much done from there. So now that you booked a meeting, the next step of the sales development process is that sometimes you actually might be taking on meetings as an SDR. So again, your primary role is to generate that meeting, but sometimes the company you're working at might say, okay, you have to talk to that person over the phone for 15 minutes and make sure that they are qualified to buy. And once they are, you can pass the lead to a closer or an account executive, right? So the sales development rep might get on the first call and just, have a short conversation, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, ask a couple questions to see if they have the budget, see if they're actually interested in this product, and then see if they really want to move into the next step. If they want to move to the next step, great, you pass it on to the account executive. If they do not want to make it to the next step, or maybe they don't want to do it right now, well, you just make a note about that and you say, okay, well, I'll follow up with you maybe 3 months from now, 6 months from now, and maybe then it might make sense to work together, right? So as a sales development rep, after you build that relationship, you're still gonna have to keep in contact with that person over time. And once they're ready to buy or they're ready to have some meetings, then you would, have those meetings appropriately. So as a sales development rep, you're not only just, reaching out to new companies, but you're nurturing and you are keeping in contact with companies that you already talked to in hopes that one day they may want to buy. So now we're gonna talk about what are the opportunities for advancement as a sales development rep, right? Because when you are a sales development rep, it's not like you're gonna be a sales development rep for the rest of your life, right? There's different routes that you can go. And what makes an SDR so great as an entry-level job is that you get to get so much exposure to different parts of the sales cycle. You get to learn lead generation, you get to learn a little bit about marketing and what get people to respond. You learn about closing because you see account executives close. And so because you have all this exposure, you can kind of go in any direction. So as an SDR, you can, generate meetings, right? But then the next stage is maybe you want to be a closer and you want to be an account executive. Or maybe you don't want to close, but you want to be an account manager who only works on deals from clients that are already paying and you're just going to renew them or sell them more stuff. Or maybe you don't want to do either of those and you want to do something completely left field and you want to go into marketing, right? So as a sales development rep, there's many directions you can go. And the reason why this works for many companies is because they know that you understand the process of selling, you understand the customer, and when you have that basic fundamental knowledge, it allows you to branch out to any department essentially related to sales, marketing, and even sales operations. So if you are thinking about, starting a sales career and you're not really sure where to start or how to break in, well, I'll tell you this, a lot of companies are always looking for SDRs who are effective and can actually do the job of generating meetings. Because if you can generate a meeting, then that helps the company generate money and suddenly you have a lot more value. Once you get your foot in the door at a company, especially if it's a good one, well, you're gonna have a lot of opportunities for advancement because you got that fundamental skill. And so if you're starting out in sales or you don't know what to do, I would actually start out as an SDR and then start learning about the business and then work your way up. And so that's gonna be what the day-to-day life is like as an SDR. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And if you're looking to start your sales career, I actually have a free training link in the description on how to sell anything to anyone, so make sure to check that out. With that said, my name is Patrick Dang, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one.